What makes tennis so exciting to watch? And when I talk about watching tennis, I'm talking about watching professional tennis. And so I'm reminded of a quote by Patrick Mouratoglou where he said that the average tennis fan is 61 years old. The average fan is getting older. And I don't know if that stat is super accurate, but I believe that's true. I think the average tennis fan is a bit older, and we need to reach out to the younger player if we are to help this tennis game survive and grow. We need to make it popular for the younger crowd. Otherwise, it's just going to die, right? So I think these are the three things that makes tennis exciting to watch. And if we focus on these three things, we can have solutions for them, right? And so this is a two-part video. I'll list out what really makes it exciting and the solutions to this. What are the three things that I think will help tennis grow? So I think what makes tennis so exciting, and I think this is the main thing, is that when we watch professional tennis, we're excited to see long rallies with interchanging offense and defense. And so I'm not talking about long rallies where it's just endless moonballs, right? These are rallies where the offense, whoever is on offense, changes inside the point itself, right? So someone is rallying, they're rallying hard, both of them are exchanging well, one goes on offense, the other one obviously goes on defense, and then it interchanges. The roles are mixed, and it becomes a very long rally. And so when you see a lot of good highlight YouTube videos, right, one thing that is in common is that it's a long rally and it's interchanging offense and defense, is going side to side, and that's what makes it fun. That's because of that suspense, right? You don't really know what's going to happen, how the point's going to end, and it just keeps on going and going, and they're hitting the ball hard. There's these slices going on, maybe a drop shot, a passing shot, and so these are things that really make tennis super engaging. Any average fan, whether they're young, middle-aged, old, they could get into it by watching these awesome rallies. So we need to have longer rallies with more interchanging offense and defense within them. The second thing that I think that makes tennis so exciting to watch is the styles of play. And this is something that we don't have in today's game. Almost everyone in today's game is playing the same way, this baseline game. If we think about the 1980s, 1990s, there were a lot of players with different styles of play. You got the Boris Beckers and the Jimmy Connors, John McEnroe. We got Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi. Everyone had this style of play that was very unique. We got serve volleyers and baseliners, grinders, counterpunchers. We got so many in that era, and it made it very interesting to watch. Now in today's game, everyone's playing the same way. Everyone's trying to play similar to Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. Yeah, it's fun to watch, as a diehard tennis fan, but if we really need to reach out to the younger folks, the casual fan, we need more styles of play so that it's more engaging, little variety. It becomes a little bit more unpredictable, and so that really needs to happen. But today, we're really lacking in the styles of play. And the third thing that makes tennis so exciting to watch is that we need to have dominant champions, meaning these champions need to have multiple Grand Slams under their belt. And we are in trouble in this category because we only have Novak Djokovic, which is a person that is probably going to retire soon, maybe in the next 3 years, maybe 4 years. We are in trouble. We do have Alcaraz as well, but I don't really see anybody else getting to that upper echelon of multiple championships. And so why do we need these dominant champions? Well, in tennis, we need to have tennis stars. We need to have tennis superstars. And if you're going to have superstars, right, they need to have multiple championships, not just one championship. And if we don't have these multiple championship tennis players, well, I think tennis will just slide downhill. And it's just going to be one of those sports where it's somewhat interesting to watch, but it's going to be like bowling or maybe like golf. Yeah, there's this new person that comes in and wins a championship. It's somewhat fun and exciting, but nothing really stays, right? So we need to see these champions because we need to see rivalries. We need to see big time rivalries and these upsets, right? It's nice to see a dominant champion get upset. That's somewhat interesting. So I think we really need to have dominant champions in tennis in order for tennis to keep surviving. So those are the three things that I think makes tennis so exciting to watch. And so how do we solve this? How do we make each of those three things amplified, accentuated? How do we promote those things in the game? And the first thing that we need to do to make the longer rallies, right, happening a little bit more and more, I think tennis needs to implement this major change. It's going to be controversial, but I think we only need one serve in tennis, meaning we just do away with the second serve in itself. Just have one serve. And so what will this do? Well, obviously, the ace count will be a lot lower, right? But it forces both tennis players to really engage in the rally, right? And also, this will speed up the game a lot more, right? So we see a lot of missed first serves, right? Say a tennis player has missed 50% of their first serves. That's a lot of time wasted. So you think about the time in between points. Well, when you miss a first serve, that's another extra time, probably another extra 10 to 20 seconds of dead time. We don't need that. We don't need further delays within our tennis match. So that one serve is all you need. Just get that ball in. You could still try to serve an ace, something very hard, but we want to get the point started and we want to promote these longer rallies, right? And so that would be a great way of just promoting that. Just cut down that second serve, cut it out. Just make it one serve for every game, and we are going to be promoting a lot of long rallies. And so as I say that, we do want longer rallies, but I don't want everything to be like a clay court match, right? Not everything should be a clay court match. So we need to accentuate more styles of play, not just this baseline grinding game, but we need to see some serve and volleyers again, some, attacking style where you just kind of run up to the net. Basically more volleys in the singles play. And so how do we promote that? Well, I think we need to implement another rule change in tennis to really make this game a little bit more exciting, and that is to make every volley winner count as 2 points. Meaning, so if you go up to the net, hit a volley, and they can't get it, they can't touch that ball, well, that person that hits that volley winner gets 2 points. So if it's 30 love or 30 all, they come up to the net and hit a volley. So for a winner, well, they will win the game in itself. And that makes it, I think, super exciting. Yes, we have the long rallies of interchanging offense and defense. We have the one serve, right, to really promote that. But we also want to promote some attacking style play, some volleys, to get 2 points with a volley winner. That will change things up, right? And we're not really changing too much of the game in itself. We're just, adding another point onto a volley winner. And it's very tough, right? It's very tough to hit a volley winner, but it really forces someone to say, oh, maybe I should take a little bit more risk. Maybe I should do something a little different. This will make things very exciting. Maybe a person can come back and just win it with a volley winner. So when we add that extra point, I think we will grow the game as far as styles of play. We'll see more certain volleyers. We'll see just basically people approach the net just a bit more, take a little bit more risk. And I think that'll make tennis very exciting. Now, finally, let's go to my third point about making tennis more exciting to watch, and it's to have and make sure we have dominant champions in the game. And so how do we promote that? Well, it's going to be tough, But basically, I think we just need to have all players, all tennis players, try to help them to stay healthy, right? It doesn't make sense to have a dominant champion and they're injured all the time, right? We need to find a way to help minimize injury and keep these dominant champions healthy, or promote tennis players to be healthy in itself, right? And I think one good way of doing this is to simply shorten the first 4 rounds of all Grand Slams to 2 out of 3 sets. So if you think about it, in the first initial rounds of each slam, we already know who's going to win, right? We got Novak Djokovic, or the number 1 player in the world, facing a number 1,000 player in the world in the first round. Do we really need to have 3 out of 5 sets to determine who is the rightful and better player? We don't need that. We don't need that in the initial rounds. And so there's a lot of dead time as well in those initial rounds, because we know who's the better player. And if you are truly the better player, you can still do it within 2 out of 3 sets. So it's just a quicker way of getting to the end of the tournament, right? And so let's do that in the first 4 rounds, and then make it 3 out of 5 sets beginning in the quarterfinals, right? So why do we need to change it back to 3 out of 5? Well, as we get to the quarterfinals, the stakes are higher, right? It gets more and more important, because at the end of the tournament, right, at the finals, that's the most important round, is to win the tournament. And so as we get to the quarterfinals, it becomes a little bit more important, and the levels of play are getting closer and closer to each other, right? We don't have these enormous big gaps of the best player versus the ranked 900 player in the world, this qualifier, right? So let's cut out all that dead time in the initial rounds of these slams. Just make it 2 out of 3 sets. That will minimize injury, make things a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. And then let's keep that 3 out of 5 sets in the last few rounds of the slams, because it's very important, right? The stakes are high and the levels of play are much closer to each other. So these are the things that I'd like to see changed, and realistically, will these things happen? I don't know. It's unlikely. Tennis is so traditionalist, but at some point, I think we'll be forced to change. If we want tennis to survive and grow, we need to implement some changes here. And so what do you think? Are these changes a little bit too much? Or do these make sense in regards to just trying to help this game grow? Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, kindly do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.